We're done with the mandates now. You guys can go to a restaurant, love bombing you and hovering you back so that then you can come back thinking that everything's going to go back to normal. But where you're going to get to is in another bigger cycle of abuse, and it's a never-ending story. Study narcissistic abuse, and you're going to understand what I'm telling you about. This is a spiritual warfare, okay? Diabolical because it's going slowly, little by little, putting a frog in boiling water. By the time the frog, because you start to adjust the temperature, little by little, degree by degree. By the time the frog wants to jump out, the water is too hot. And what happens to the frog? They die. So whatever you do, you could lose your job. You could lose everything. Don't abandon your moral values for money. Because at the end of the day, you can go find another job. Maybe you can leave New York. Guess what? But your soul shouldn't be for sale. Because some of the parents that I know, like some of my coworkers, oh no, I would never vaccinate my child. You're supposed to lead by example in the household. So what are you teaching your children? It's okay to sell your body like a prostitute for money, because that's prostitution. Prostitution doesn't only come through physical contact. Prostitution comes from your action. These politicians that are selling themselves, that are not sticking to the moral values, that are not really working for us, because they're supposed to be public servants, so that they're supposed to be beneath us, unfortunately. But they're not. They think that they're on top of us, right? So again, take this. All I want you guys to take from this, go home. You guys have a smartphone, because now we have smart people. Smart phones, I mean. But people that are not highly intelligent, go home and study narcissistic abuse up and down, and then come back and tell me that what I just said doesn't relate to the government. Because we live in the world where child abuse is glorified on the low. We come from homes that have generational crises upon us, right? Poverty, incest, all that stuff, domestic violence, and we don't want to talk about it because it's a secret. And the reason why we're in this mess is because people love to enable abusers, because they think, oh no, they're not going to do it to me, they were nice to me. So wake up and see that you have been abused, we have been abused, some of us have been in abusive relationship ourselves, some of us probably have been the abusers, I don't know. But do your research, work on your mind, because a person that's free on the mind, even if they take your body, they won't be able to take your soul, all right? Because slavery is not physical, slavery is your mind. All right, thank you.
Was there any books that stood out to you that helped you make a breakthrough, like during your healing process?
Complex PTSD, from surviving to thriving, healing the shame that binds you, and the body keeps the score and homecoming. Those books, I have other books, but from the top of my head, those were the most memorable books, because I was just in shock that it was able to label some of the behavior that I was doing. For example, I was really codependent. So as a codependent, sometimes you be fawning over people. If you meet somebody new, you start to you put them in some pedestal, and you want to get really close to them and stuff like that. So I highly recommend those books. They're, in my opinion, life-changing books, even if you are not a codependent, but it will help you out to understand certain aspects of human behavior.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, because we be needing extra resources to figure out why does humans, their behavior, why do they do what they do? Why do we think how we think? What is going on?
What could get you motivated? What could get you moving? Because sometimes we all going through pain, and it's just what type of pain was it? What time was it? What finally made you say, let me do this? What did it take? It's all interesting to see, because that could strike somebody to say, you know what? I just went through something like that yesterday. You know what? I got to do something. And you never know what somebody's dealing with. So it's good to hear all the inspiration.
Right.
All right. We gonna get into this next question right here, and it's Joe.
Hold on, I wanna shout out everybody in the room. Wait a minute. Look at everybody in the room. Shout out to Juju, Kev, New York Freedom Rally, Waterworld, Liberty Dan, Tyree developer, Brenda Black. Thank you all for supporting and being in the room. But Joe said it first. We are here and we about to get back into it. Go ahead, Design.
Tell the world about bravery and what it took to gain that character of bravery.
Wow, that's a very good question. I like I said, I was so sick and tired of feeling like being treated like a doormat, not putting myself first, allowing people to disrespect me, going through the same thing over and over again. One day I just started to just snap and just started to go off and realize like I don't deserve this stuff. I'm just like I'm done with this. And so anger, because sometimes people don't like to talk about emotions. We have all these emotions in us because we're humans in some shape or form. Those emotions are there to push you into a certain direction. Like if you're happy or if you have enthusiasm, the enthusiasm can take you and help you develop ideas. It can help you to stay focused on your business. It can help you to stay focused on your gym journey, right? So anger for me was like my pushing emotion, because I got angry because for so many years I was not allowed to feel angry at the injustice on how I was getting treated since I was a child. Because anytime I tried to express that emotion in my household, it was like I was made to feel like I was a bad child. I was told to shut up. I couldn't voice when I wanted to defend myself against when I knew in my heart okay, my mom, my dad, whoever in my family was not treating me well. And when I tried to speak up, I was shut down and told to just practically shut up. So, as I got older, I just started to bottle up my anger into one day. The anger came out, and it comes out in all type of negative ways because of not knowing how to process that, for having to bottle it up inside and having to swallow it for so long. Right? So for me, it was my anger. I was like, I'm done with this. Once I realized wait a minute, if someone is disrespecting me and I've been abused for so long, I can snap at somebody. If my boundaries are being violated, I can snap at somebody, right? As long as I don't go around doing some crazy stuff or whatever the case might be, right? But then eventually what you have to do is you have to learn how to regulate those emotions, because you don't want to just allow anybody to say any little thing and get you to start acting super crazy that it can land you in jail or something weird like that. So I find the bravery to fight off is because I always growing up, I experienced a lot of opposition all the way to adulthood. And then I realized wait a minute, if I need all these people to attack one person, ever since I was a child, I had adults, siblings attacking me, right? Then I went to school, I had my classmates, then I went to work. And I'm like, wait a minute, I must be powerful if all these people are against me. And I used to be very sweet, very quiet, always wanting to help and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized wait a minute, I have power in me. I don't have to take this bullshit at all. And so that's what made me feel you know what? Even if the world stands against me, I'm going to do what is right. And then especially when I work at a shelter, because the job was very unhealthy, it's very toxic, and I saw people doing things that we're not supposed to be doing, or treating some of the clients that we were supposed to service in a very negative way. I couldn't wait to expose the corruption, because since I was a child, I was the main one that was pointing out the dysfunction in my family. So that's why they turned me into the scapegoat and the black sheep, because I was able to see through people's bullshit. I didn't want to enable anybody, so I wanted to expose it. So I don't know, I just feel as a child, I was just the one that was going to do that. And then at the workplace, once I saw people doing shady stuff, I went into a meeting and I was like, we're all fake here. Everybody talks crap about one another. You do this, I do that. The job needs to be fixed. The job needs to change. But in order for the job to change, we need to fix the way we treat ourselves so that then we can have a better relationship with the people that we're giving service to. And then I realized, you know what? I can stand on my own 2 feet. I can stand on my own 2 feet, even if people come against me. So that experience at the workplace and having my bad relationship during that time, I don't know, it just motivated me. And I realized I survived my childhood. I survived being emotionally distant from my family. I survived my family putting me down, calling me ugly, saying that I was dumb, saying that when I spoke, I sounded like I was, I hate to say it, but retarded and things like that. And so if I was able to survive those attacks from 8 years old all the way to this age, then that means that I can stand up against anybody. So even there's a saying that even if your voice shakes, you should speak the truth and you should expose the truth. And I'm not perfect. I haven't always said the truth about everything. But for me, it's about having integrity, right? Even if I always said if I was to end up in politics, and my family told me I was younger, don't ever do politics because I'm afraid because of your mouth, we're going to find you some kind of dish. because meaning like they might kill me because they know how I get. I'm the courage to like stand up against people, like because it's the moral thing to do. I just don't want to keep lying to anybody. I don't want to lie to myself. I don't want to enable anybody. It's not perfection that I'm seeking, but it's for us to live in a righteous way without having to go around hurting other people. So that's how I was able to my courage and realize that I was more powerful than what I thought that I was. And the reason why I don't know, I realized that one day was because I noticed that I used to have a lot of people come against me. And I feel like, well, if you claim that you guys are so powerful, why do you guys need a whole group of people? Why don't you come at me one-on-one? Why is it always a group? And I feel like if you got to do a group against one person, then the weak people are the people in the group, not me standing by myself. And even if you lose many battles, I've lost many battles, but the war, I'm going to win. And the war that I'm fighting up against, it's not even against outside people, but it's the war that I have going on in my mind that I'm obligated to like reprogram myself and continue to fight because like I said already, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to break this generational curses. And it's obvious that I was chosen to do that. That's just what motivates me. And knowing that if I have children, all that bullshit is going to stop right there. And then I'm going to raise a healthier family. And then from there forward, the family lineage is going to be healed.
Right. I had a quick question. Were you able to actually forgive some of your family members for their wrongdoing towards you?
You know, years ago, and there are times still, because I moved back in with my parents to losing my job. So I you know, I'm no longer in a position, I don't hate my parents. I don't recommend people to be like, oh no, I don't hate my parents because blah, blah. Did I go through periods of time that I hated my parents with all of my guts? Yes, right? The reason why I no longer feel that way is because I've done a lot of healing work and I've analyzed a lot of things. And from the little bit that I heard about my parents' childhood, they had a really messed up childhood. Now, that does not excuse, because people want to be like always putting that. That does not excuse what I went through at all, right? But what I realized is that my parents did not have the necessary tools, right? Because of what they went through to raise a healthy person, because they themselves they themselves were dealt with like really, really hardship when they were children. But again, I'm not excusing the behavior, and I don't recommend anyone to do spiritual bypass. That's when you're trying to be like, oh, everything is perfect, everything is great. No, bullshit. I have hated my parents really, really bad to the point that I had really unhealthy thoughts about them. I'm not gonna say what I used to think growing up, like what I really wanted to do to my parents, right? Because I was so freaking angry, right? But then now that I'm like, in my case, because not everyone's situation ends up like mine, the more healing work I've done, the better things are here in my household. Even though there are moments where like my mom irritates me to no end, I realized that my parents are never going to change. My mom has gotten a little bit better only because she's going to church now, and like she has time now to be with her church people. And because she realizes that she can't control me anymore. She knows that there's nothing she can do. You can't control me anymore. You can say whatever you want to say. You can try to insult me. You can talk about my body, that I'm overweight, whatever you want to say. Her words have no power with me. And my dad, my issue with my father was that my father was always like working and doing stuff. And then I did have issues with my sibling growing up. And then I found out certain things that was being done to her by another family member of ours. And so that kind of made me have more compassion. And then the thing with me forgiving people now, the reason why I don't hold any resentment towards people and I don't get revenge on people is because I realize that the best revenge that I can give people is for me to be healthy in the mind, healthy in the body, be happy, be successful in my own way, and move on with my life. Because if you don't appreciate me having me in your life, then I'm going to give you the gift of me being absent, right? And me forgiveness is I really forget about people. Like I cut people out of my life, and like I will block you, I will stop talking to you, and I just wish people well, because I don't know, I just don't find it in my heart to just have the anger, the resentment, because if I do, then that means that they're controlling me and I'm not 100% healed. But like I said, everyone's going to be on their own scale of healing. And if anyone hates their family and for whatever they did, they have the right to feel that way. I'm not telling anybody to go around forgiving people, but I'm at the stage where I'm higher enough mentally and emotionally where I'm perfectly fine. I have forgiven my parents, and it just felt a lot healthier, and I don't have that burden of feeling angry. But that's because I already processed my anger in a different way.
That's incredible.
Yeah. That answered your question, right, Roy?
Absolutely. She sounds like me.
We all share that similar stories. Like, you know, I'm happy that you are open to share your truths, and I hope you just understand that your story is helping. It will help, and it is helping many people. Yeah, 1,000 people that think just like you, right? And that's going through what you're going through, and we don't even know it. So that was powerful.
I feel like the best way for me to like help people, and I as of lately I've been talking a lot about my life and stuff like that, is because I don't want people to pity me. Like, I don't want people to be like, oh, I feel sorry for you. Don't feel sorry for me, because the way that I see it is like, if I would have grown up in a household with like perfect loving families, I wouldn't be this way. I would have been successful. Yeah, I would have had a lot of money by now. I would have had like this career. I probably would have been married to like a good man or whatever. But had I not gone through what I've gone through, I wouldn't be who I am today, right? And so for me, wisdom comes from pain, right? Success can even come from pain. Some of the greatest people in the world that have done a lot of stuff are people that have gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. And I feel like people that haven't gone through that, you don't understand life at a deeper level than people that have gone through stuff and that were able to overcome that. Because I feel like I always wanted to help people, but I feel like I don't want to do the work for people. I just want to inspire and motivate people, let them know, listen, you can come out of really mentally fucked up situation. Because I used to be, and like I talk about it, I don't think people believe me because they look at me and like, it seems like I haven't gone through anything. But one day I'm gonna post pictures of what I used to look like, because I hated looking at myself in the mirror, because I was raised to like, I was called ugly a lot, like in my family by my own mother. So that kind of really messed me up. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm grateful for my bad experiences, because the wisdom that I hold for my age, like I can talk to an 80-year-old about life and I understand what they're talking about. So as long as you transmute that and you don't let that get to you and you don't become a victim, because we're all victims at one point, but I don't consider myself a victim anymore. I'm out of that space, and I just feel like I'm a fighter, and no matter what people do, I can get fired for. I got fired from my job. I might go broke, but guess what? I'm still not gonna stop, and I'm gonna get to where I want to get, regardless if the world is going to shit. I don't give a damn. Like, at the end of the day, listen, there's certain things that I can't control, but what I can control, I will work on that and do whatever I have to do. So one thing that I want people to take from me is the ability to continue to fight, no matter who comes your way, who, what, where, group of people, million people, the government, your job, whoever. I don't care. You get knocked down, fine. You rest a little bit, but get back up, because we have one life to live, and life is a gift that needs to be cherished. And I'm grateful for being alive, right? Because there were times where I'm like, oh, why am I even born? And my mom told me when I was 8 years old, because I wrote in a diary that I didn't think my parents were my parents. I thought I was adopted because of how I was being raised. She told me how I was supposed to be aborted, and I was only 8 years old. I didn't even know what the fuck abortion was at that time. So, I mean, I had multiple attempts against me ever since before I was even born. So, listen, if I did it, anyone can do it. And that's all I want to like inspire people. It's not going to be easy, because I still have things about me that I need to change, you know, and I still struggle with, because it's not perfection here. It's taking your time to do things little by little, to work on your goals, work on your mentality, and just stick to it, and don't allow anybody to have any power over you. Like, at least not another human being, right? Because nobody has power over you unless you actually give it to them.
Right.
That's all good right there, because it's just a good outlet of how to get people motivated and get the ideas going through their mind, and showing them what it takes to build courage, showing you that fear is always there, showing you that imperfections is always there. But the moment that you step into your energy, and the moment that you say, you know what, I'm gonna do something different today, is the moment that you using your power, and a lot of things is going to change right off of that. And if you're consistent with that, then it's gonna come to where you get more confident and it becomes natural. And now we can't even tell, when you tell us how you used to be, I'm like, I can't even picture you that way because you're a whole different person now. That's well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. Like when people tell me, like, so I know some people don't believe me because if you see, and then if you see what I look like, that it doesn't even add up. But that's the point. Like I don't want to look like I struggle. I don't. Even if I'm poor, I don't want to look like I'm struggle. I don't want to look like I'm poor. I don't want to look like none of those things because I'm not those things anymore. And so, like, I like when I'm telling you, I used to be like shy, socially anxious. I hated going outside. I didn't even also, I hated doing presentations in schools. I hated when the teachers called on me because I used to be like, I'm going to mess up. Oh my God, I'm going to make a mistake. People are going to judge me. People are going to criticize me, right? And then, to find out that I was leading the movement with my voice after I was criticized as a child and said that I didn't sound smart when I spoke. Like, that's the point of that. Like, the fact that you can't even tell that I went through struggles tell me that I have healed beyond what I expected to heal, and that's the thing. Like struggles are for you to like remember them and learn from them and move forward and use that as a vehicle to push yourself beyond whatever limitations were placed on you, whether it's by society, by your family, or whoever it was. And that's like I said, that's one thing that I want people to get from me. There's nothing else. Like I don't have to physically do stuff for you, because I don't want to hinder people, because I used to get infantilized. I was treated as if I was basically like stupid. Like I couldn't do anything. Like, I mean, let me tell you guys this really quickly. It's to the point, like I learned how to take the train when I was about 19 or 21 years old, and I'm 31 now. I'm gonna tell you why. My parents never bothered to teach me how to do that. None of that. It's because they wanted to keep me stuck, so I could be dependent on them, which is what the government does to people now with certain things that they offer people. Oh, I'm going to give you this, but you don't work. You stay at home, have a whole bunch of kids. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to use government assistance. My parents used that and still do. But what I'm saying is, you see how people create levels of dependency? It's not because they want to help you. It's because they want to keep you stuck and small, so you don't even realize your potential, the power that you have within you to change your life and how you live and change the course of action of your kids as well. If you take the time to sit down and heal and move past those limitations.
Yeah, and your experience of dealing with a lack of teaching, a lack of learning, a lack of knowledge, it made you go out on a major quest for all of this knowledge and abundance, and now you just took it like, oh, it's mine now. So you just took it and reversed it. You know what I'm saying? Plenty of people need to hear this. We gonna go through, we got one more question. We gonna go through a review of some of the solutions. I got some of them in my mind. Y'all could shout them out if I missed one or whatever. Some of the solutions that you said, because some of them were really good. They were good key points for people, and some people may need to hear this. I might need to hear it again myself, One of the solutions you said was to read. Another one you said was to try and forgive people. Another one you said was to stand up for yourself. In my own words, you said to exercise your confidence. So basically telling people to tap into their inner self. Those 4 key points is the four key points I remember off the top. And those are just, I think if people took those and apply those to their life today, even if they were somebody that's confident yesterday, they're going to be more confident the next day with those 4 solutions. I just want to definitely shout you out for the way you're speaking and for your growth, and just for the way you stepped up and just, took a righteous step towards things a lot of people wouldn't do or be able to do.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Any last comments for anybody before we get into this last question here?
I want to play your song "Growth" because it's hitting it on the nail right now. I feel like we need a tune right about now.
I agree.
If you don't mind, just real quick, and then we could get back to it.
For sure, it's no problem at all. So while she's loading up the tune, we hear this creative collection, How to Make the World Better, Part 7. We here with Joe said it first, Joe, and we just talking about solutions. We talking about therapeutic things. We talking about lessons. We talking about life. We talking about just how to get through the struggle. We talking about going against tyranny. We talking about healing from going against all types of things you never thought you may have go against, whatever it is. But either way, we bringing solutions live and direct to you with experience and with learning abilities.
I confuse them like Silo Saab, take you on a trip. I could beat the myth, passion came and went like a weather change. I guess that's ironic, cause I'm about to make it rain. I bring that substance, I help you function. I had to find God, my heart lost a lot of loving. I feel my soul numbing, but I know my time coming. Shock them like thunderbolts, yeah, they know my flow stunning. Good fight, I'm in the forefront, cause I'm on it for something. My purpose got me a lot of hate. Pick your side, you gon' decide your fate. Then you gotta ride the wave. Growth like this, it ain't minute made. It's more than the money chase. We missing on the freedom that we need to embrace. This ain't typical. I'm back up on it like a ritual. You show them love while they thinking that they sick of you. But in the end, I'm just doing what a winner do. I done saw it all, yeah. I don't even need the proof. I could rap anywhere. I don't really need a booth. But I gotta thank God, cause I didn't need the coupe. Watch a star shoot, get it through the pandemic. That's faith, that's a lot of grind, that's bare effort.